everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Peter Dubois.
And I'm Beth Jones. Well, as you may have heard, there are some seriously high temperatures heading our way this week.
Yep.
Some may be welcoming them, but they could be dangerous for members of our community as well.
Yeah.
And so it's important that we stay ahead of it, make a plan. And on that note, let's go ahead and get a first check of our forecast right away.
All right, thank you guys. First weather is brought to you by Acres Away Real Estate, located at 309 West Broadway in Lincoln. Call Alan, Bobby, Lynn, or Kara to help guide you through the buying or selling process. 794-2700. All right, we do have an extreme heat advisory making our way through the Bangor and Presque Isle area. We'll have some temperatures up in the 90s coming our way. And then as you can see, the UV is going to be up there as well. It's going to be at a 9, very, very high. Burn time will be 10 minutes. Very important to protect yourself out in the sunshine tomorrow. Taking a look at the overnight planner for tonight, cloudy skies throughout the night and temperatures will be right around 60 degrees.
Thank you, Chase. The Maine Emergency Management Agency is urging Mainers to be cautious this week with that extreme heat on the way. Maine's National Weather Service office reports the heat index is expected to rise above 95 in many locations tomorrow and could even climb into the hundreds Wednesday and Thursday, so those degrees varying a little bit. Mainers will see little relief overnight as well, with temperatures only expected to fall into the 70s in many places. According to MEMA's Public Information Officer Vanessa Corson, young children and the elderly are most at risk.
This is a good week to keep your eye on family members, friends, neighbors. Make sure they know what the forecast is and that they do have a plan already for this week, and then continue to check on them as this weather continues throughout the week.
Corson suggests drinking lots of water and maybe even taking a cool shower to help avoid overheating.
And finding relief, even just a temporary break from the hot temperatures, will be key to staying healthy and safe this week. So the city of Bangor is working on opening cooling centers for people who need them. There may be more locations opening up, but for right now, we do know the Hart Community Center at 304 Hancock Street will be open every day this week from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The Mansion Church at 96 Center Street will also open its doors from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tuesday through Thursday. The city of Brewer is in talks of potentially open cooling centers as well, but no concrete plans have been established. Finally, the city of Augusta will open the doors of the Civic Center on Tuesday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Crated animals will be allowed. More details can be found on our website, foxbangor.com, and we'll update that post with any other cooling centers as they become available.
And as the heat descends on us, many will be looking for ways to cool down. Our Doug Banks has more on ways to beat the heat while also gathering important advice for pet owners.
This week, a heat wave will bring temperatures above 90 degrees, prompting many to seek refuge in cooler air. For those with an AC unit, Fairmount Hardware's owner Sheldon Hartstone says it needs to be plugged into a strong power supply, clean the filter before use, and make sure the window is fully sealed.
You've got to make sure you get the size of your unit to adequately take care of your room, because if it's not properly sized, it's not going to take care of the room.
High heat brings a higher risk of your pet getting sick, even suffering from heat stroke. So it's important to know the signs that your furry friend is in distress. Symptoms include excessive panting, increased heart rate, excessive drooling, and restlessness. Brittany Ellis, shelter manager for the Animal Orphanage, recommends pet owners have fresh water at all times, avoid the pavement, and walk on grass and in the shade if possible. Limit outdoor exercise, and if walking dogs, go early in the morning or later in the evening. But if you do see signs of heat stroke,
call the emergency vet. You can also make sure that you are keeping them cool by either giving them a cool bath if they're able to, or taking cold towels or napkins or something that you wet and petting them down.
Now, it's not uncommon to get ice cream on hot days, and for Jimmy's here in Brewer, they say when the temperature rises, so too do their sales on ice cream.
Oh, definitely. When the weather goes up, there's always a line in the street, the lobby's filled, people just want a nice little ice cream cone. I think it's just so hot outside and they just want ice cream to cool them down.
Regardless of how you keep cool, it's important to plan ahead so you're ready when the heat wave hits. Reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News, I'm Doug Banks.
In other news tonight, the commission investigating the Lewiston mass shooting heard from the battalion commander of Robert Card's Army Reserve Unit. Our Augusta reporter Corey Bouchard has the story.
Robert Card was an important person in our unit. He had a lot of talents and skills despite what he did.
Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Vasquez is the battalion commander for the 3rd Battalion, 304th Infantry Regiment that Robert Card was a member of. On Monday, he testified before the commission investigating the Lewiston mass shooting and expressed visual frustration with the commission members, asking if the unit could have done more to prevent the October 25th tragedy.
I don't understand why people think that this is like an active duty post. It's not.
Lieutenant Colonel Vasquez echoed what members of the Army Reserves testified to in multiple hearings, that they can only do so much to force service members to seek treatment.
I can't, if they're not compliant with their treatment, I don't have a lot of tools in my toolbox.
Lieutenant Colonel Vasquez was asked why the reserves had not started the process of medically discharging Card when he returned from the psychological hospital in New York. He answered they didn't receive a proper diagnosis record from the hospital, only their initial triage.
What's the expression 1,000-yard stare mean to you?
To me, it's a colloquial old military term or law enforcement term, meaning that someone might be in distress.
The commission is expected to release their final report sometime this summer. In Augusta, I'm Corey Bouchard for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
In other news, the goal of having high-speed internet available to everyone in the state took one step closer to becoming a reality today. The National Telecommunications and Information Administration and Maine Connectivity Authority both announced that $272 million has been approved from the Federal Broadband Equity, Access, and Deployment Fund. That money means the Maine Connectivity Authority can begin a selection process for contractors to expand broadband infrastructure in the coming months.
This has been a tremendous effort building from so many different people being engaged. And I just wanted to say today's announcement of this approval of Maine's initial BEAD proposal is a massive step towards our comprehensive connectivity in Maine.
Maine Connectivity Authority says after the contracts are awarded, their next step is to submit a final proposal to the NTIA within 1 year of today's announcement.
The town of Hancock has been selected to receive more than $1 million in congressional funding, which was secured by Senator Susan Collins. The town plans to use the funding to build a brand new fire station, which the fire chief says has been needed for decades. Our Grace Blanchard has the story.
Doesn't have any running water, no bathroom. It's basically just a garage.
The Hancock Volunteer Fire Department Station 1 has stood since 1957.
This side's even more cramped over here.
But after being awarded roughly $1.5 million in congressional funding, the town plans to build a new station.
Station is definitely not big enough, and the land area that it sits on is not expandable enough.
The new facility will be built on this plot of land directly across the street from their current station and will be twice the size, an expansion that the fire chief says is greatly needed.
Just don't have enough room. We have 3 vehicles, one's outside, 2 are in a tent, so we need more room.
According to a member of the town select board, this project has been in the works for nearly a decade.
Citizens of Hancock are involved, some people are, and the input was great, and you know, it's a good thing, it's local.
The fire chief hopes this will also help attract new recruits.
Hopefully with the new station we'll have more room to grow. We should be set for quite a few years down the road. Hopefully also the new station, some people might be more interested in joining up and helping out. So.
They are hoping to break ground on the project this fall. In Hancock, Grace Blanchard for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
All right, and still to come on Fox 22 News at 10, lifeguards expressed the use of caution before partaking in water-based activities ahead of the heat wave.
And live music and food are just a few of the things you'll be expecting from the 175th Bangor State Fair. Those stories and more local news when we come right back.
If you've been injured and think you can't afford a lawyer, think again.
You can hire Lowry & Associates, and there's no fee unless they win your case. Just call the twos.
We don't get paid unless you get paid. We call it the Lowry Guarantee.
They win or it's free. That's the Lowry Guarantee. Lowry & Associates settled my case for $400,000.
Call the twos. We win for you.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do you do? Call 222-2222.
I've been with U.S. Cellular for 27 years. They've always taken care of me. But when they asked me to talk to you about their special customer event, Us Days, I said, I gotta get in shape. So they sent me this Hollywood trainer. Oh, this guy's no joke. Us Days means exclusive deals just for us customers.
Now let's try burpees.
Us Days is back at U.S. Cellular. Current customers get $1,200 off any phone, plus $300 off any tablet.
When we say it'll be on time, they expect it to be on time.
Turn shipping to your advantage.
Keep those expectations with reliable ground shipping.
Thanks, Brandon.
With USPS Ground Advantage.
Dear Savvy Traveler, airline food isn't what it used to be. I need to fuel up before I fly.
Dear Hangry, you can fill up before takeoff at Bangor International Airport. The Highlands Cafe has quick and casual. The Refueler Pub and Grill has heartier fare. And the Post Security Cafe, other side of TSA, offers a pick-me-up before wheels up. Bon appetit and bon voyage, Hangry. And remember, the savvy travel through Bangor International Airport. Flybangor.com.
Upset stomach? Iberogast. Indigestion? Iberogast. Bloating? Iberogast. Thanks to a unique combination of herbs, Iberogast helps relieve 6 digestive symptoms to help you feel better. 6 digestive symptoms, the power of nature. Iberogast.
It is season 7.
It's the musical game with the bestest prize. Beat Shazam, all new Tuesdays on Fox.
You can join Fox 22 and ABC 7 online at foxbangor.com. Be a part of the conversation on Twitter and join our Facebook family at Fox ABC Maine. Follow, like, watch. Download the new Fox Bangor app from the App Store or Google Play and get your news anytime, anywhere.
Hidden currents, cold waters, and extreme heat are all cause for concern this week in Maine. Lifeguards are expecting a busy week as families hit swimming pools, rivers, lakes, and beaches to try and cool off. Our Brad Rogers has more.
Well, right now the water temperature is in the 50s, even on Maine lakes, so hypothermia is certainly one concern. Strong hidden currents are another danger.
There's just so many kids in this area, and the weather's going to be hot, so we're going to have more people heading to unsafe areas.
Firefighters encourage families to swim in places with lifeguards. Starting Wednesday, Old Orchard Beach lifeguards will be on duty from 9 to 5, just in time for an early summer heat wave.
When it's 100 degrees on the beach or 90 degrees on the beach with the heat index, then they're going to go in the water just to cool off.
Captain Keith Willett says his lifeguards pulled 11 people out of the water this weekend, including a father, son, and 3 others caught in a rip current.
We saw all the lifeguards coming from everywhere. There were seven of them.
Could you see the rip current?
Yeah, yes. It was just going out, but it wasn't coming back in.
There's a couple of sandbars that have formed over the winter from the storms. We have the 2 sandbars on each side and the rip currents running right out through there.
We've got the med bag in here.
Right now, firefighters here are training about 24 new lifeguards to be ready for whatever happens.
That's our duty, is to take care of the beach, make sure everyone's following all our protocol, and if we have to go into the water and rescue somebody, then we'll just be on it.
If a lifeguard is on duty where you swim, be sure to ask them where it's safe to swim and where the hazards are before you go into the water. Lifeguards also say parents need to keep a close watch on their children when they're in the water.
And that was Brad Rogers reporting. 2 Maine women who served in different branches of the military during different decades have formed a bond unlike any other. Renee Gilmore is an Air Force veteran, while 93-year-old Dolores Hayner is a former Army nurse. Both of them now volunteer with the Coal Land Transportation Museum's Interview a Veteran program. Our Jody Hersey met up with them to hear more about their growing friendship.
Rennie's the one I was introduced to her. It's been about a month now at the most. I think I've known her forever. It's reconnecting with the military. That's how it is.
At 93 years old, Dolores Hayner no longer drives. Losing that independence was not easy for this former Army nurse. However, thanks to the friendship and the transportation of former Air Force veteran Renee Gilmore, Hayner can continue to share her experience of serving at the Brooke Army Medical Center in Texas during the Korean War with Maine students who visit the Coal Land Transportation Museum in Bangor.
it's really foolish for me not to go pick her up, bring her here. She enjoys it.
Hayner has been participating in the museum's Interview a Vet program since 1995. She remembers with clarity the soldiers she treated when they returned home from combat.
And this young boy come home from Korea with frostbite, and I didn't know what that meant. I looked up, no blanket on his legs. I saw 2 feet missing. How do you fix somebody who don't have any feet? You know, I'm 19, this kid's 19. I know the sacrifices he made for me. You bet. And I said, I've prayed for him every day since.
For the past 3 years, Gilmore has also been sharing her military experience with students at Cole's Museum. But she is quick to credit Hayner with paving the way for her and so many other women who wanted to serve their country.
She is why I could do what I did. Because back when she was in the military, even being a woman in the military was very unusual.
Both women feel fortunate this museum brought them together and sparked a friendship that's sure to last. In Bangor, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, the Bangor State Fair will be back at the end of July, celebrating its 175th anniversary. And today, organizers announced what we have to look forward to this year in Bass Park. The agricultural barn will be open, showcasing different things to do and see for all ages. And then there are the car enthusiast events, yes please, including a demolition derby and a classic car show. And of course, there will be live music and plenty of fair food. The fair will be open the weekends of July 25th through the 28th and then August 1st through August 3rd. You can purchase advanced passes, including family 4-packs and full fair passes at the box office at Bass Park.
No, that's going to be such a fun event.
Absolutely.
Those fairs always just bring the community together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people from across the state too.
Well, and young and old too. I mean, there's something. There really is something for everybody at fairs like that. I'm definitely, you know, just let me loose in the agricultural barn and then steer me towards the classic car show, or vice versa. Yeah, feed me at some point and I'm good.
Yeah, something deep fried and delicious. And,
yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly.
I'll take that too.
All right.
Well, coming up on the 10 p.m. news on Fox 22, an American journalist, Evan Gershkovich, has a trial date scheduled by a Russian court.
And Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's prime minister, is reportedly engaged in high-stakes political battle with both his own government and military personnel. Those stories and more as the 10 p.m. news on Fox 22 continues.
Who has the best kept secret in Penobscot County?
We do!
Welcome to Maple Lane Farms, a 5th-generation family farm that's committed to providing you with the best quality products. Our farm-raised local and sustainable meat is flash frozen to lock in the freshness and natural flavors. Experience the top-notch quality of our meat that's naturally raised without any antibiotics or hormones. Get the best of both worlds, quality and affordability. Try Maple Lane Farms today, the candy store for the carnivore.
We've been doing a whole array of things between the road repair, we dug the ditch, we brought in 7 million pounds of rocks to build this rock wall.
What's Daddy obsessed with?
Rocks. I finally slid off one, my face slid down the rock.
He's out there doing all of these projects without the proper equipment.
I said, Rob, we really need to get you a tractor before you hurt yourself.
Together, we're united. Your local John Deere dealer.
Tired of your internet service constantly letting you down? Those other providers may promise the world with their flashy advertisements, but are you truly having a good customer experience? Fear not, because there's a new player in town. Introducing GoNet Speed. No more endless hold times or automated responses. We're here to listen, support, and provide you with the exceptional service you deserve. Our fast, reliable fiber internet, it's mind-blowing. Let us show you what true internet satisfaction feels like.
The Legacy Sandwich, where you can find quality, homemade sandwiches that are made to order. When it comes to food, we take it seriously. That's why we serve shredded chicken and turkey on our sandwiches, and our bacon is cooked fresh daily. To pair with your sandwich, we also have a selection of homemade soups, macaroni salad, and baked goods for dessert. The Legacy Sandwich, voted Bangor's best deli sandwich shop for the past 12 years running. It's not just a sandwich, it's a legacy. Give us a call today.
If you've been injured, call Joe, the law offices of Joe Bornstein.
A Russian court has set a trial date for American journalist Evan Gershkovich. U.S. officials and his newspaper are calling the court proceedings a sham and say he's being wrongfully detained. Fox's Connor Hansen has more.
Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich will stand trial in less than 2 weeks. He has been held in a Russian prison for more than a year.
Number one, should never have been arrested in the first place. Charges against him are completely bogus. We are going to continue to try to bring him home.
The Russian government now says the journalist is accused of spying on a facility that produces military equipment and sending information to the CIA. Moscow hasn't offered any evidence to back that up. Both the Journal and U.S. officials say the charges are false. Russian President Vladimir Putin recently signaled his government could be open to a prisoner swap, but that likely wouldn't happen until after a verdict is reached. Fellow American Paul Whelan could be a part of that. He's been held in Russia since December 2018, convicted on spying charges.
There was a significant offer that we put on the table for the return of both Evan Gershkovich and Paul Whelan several months ago, and we will continue to try to pursue their release.
Gershkovich will be moved from Moscow to the Russian city of Yekaterinburg for the closed-door espionage trial. That's where he was arrested 15 months ago by Russia's Federal Security Service while on a reporting trip.
Evan remains strong. He remains hopeful for his release. He's not broken, neither physically or mentally.
If he is found guilty, Evan Gershkovich faces up to 20 years in a Russian prison. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is reportedly in a high-stakes political fight with members of the military and his own government, and it could have big implications for the war in Gaza. Fox's Trey Yingst has more from Tel Aviv.
As the fighting escalates in Rafah, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is at odds with his own military over a new plan to get aid to Gaza. The IDF announced on Sunday it will hold what it calls daily tactical pauses to help facilitate the delivery of food, water, and medicine to civilians. Netanyahu reportedly called the plan unacceptable, but the military is moving ahead, saying the first pauses are already taking place, and it's waiting for the UN to step up and increase the amount of aid being distributed throughout Gaza.
We hope to see it increase the amount of aid making its way to the humanitarian zone. So far, we haven't seen the UN take full advantage of this step.
Just hours after that announcement, Netanyahu disbanded his war cabinet, a move that had been anticipated after the resignation of Benny Gantz, who criticized how the war is being managed. Moving forward, officials say the prime minister will hold smaller meetings with his security cabinet. But Netanyahu is now more politically isolated than ever, and he's relying on far-right war hawks to help hold his government together, while a growing movement here calls for early elections to pick the next generation of Israeli leaders.
We need to change that we start from the government and down to change the situation, to release the hostages as soon as possible, and just to change the reality.
It's not clear what impact those protests will have, and unless the government collapses, the next elections here aren't expected until October of 2026. In Tel Aviv, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
Meanwhile, more commercial ships are under attack in the Middle East as Houthi rebels in Yemen step up their attacks. The U.S. Navy rescued stranded sailors over the weekend and is firing back. Fox's Connor Hansen now again from New York.
Tense moments aboard a sinking cargo ship in the Red Sea. A Greek-owned merchant ship, the Tudor, was hit by an unmanned surface drone, then an anti-ship missile launched by Houthi rebels in Yemen. The U.S. Navy airlifted 24 civilian sailors from the damaged ship, but one member of the crew is still missing.
This is pure terrorism. There's simply no other word for it.
It was the second commercial ship to be hit by Houthi strikes in just 3 days. The U.S. unleashed another wave of strikes, this time hitting Houthi radar facilities. It has been the most intense combat U.S. Navy ships have seen since World War II.
The day in, day out stress of knowing that we are being shot at definitely gives a realism to the whole experience that this is not a normal deployment that we are on.
The Iran-backed Houthis say their attacks are meant to pressure Israel to pull out of Gaza. Instead, the strikes are affecting global shipping.
A ragtag terrorist bunch has put a halt to major economies and are driving prices higher and higher.
So far, 3 sailors have died in more than 50 attacks by the terrorist group. The U.S. Navy has built up its presence in the Red Sea, trying to protect the vital shipping lane. The commander of the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower pushing back on false Houthi claims that the rebels have successfully struck the U.S. aircraft carrier.
We've allegedly been sunk, which we have not been, is almost comical at this point, right?
Most of the crew rescued by the Navy over the weekend were from the Philippines and have been able to return home. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
4 Miami police officers are facing charges over an incident 5 years ago that culminated in a wild shootout in the middle of a busy highway where 2 innocent people were killed. Police union officials say the officers had only seconds to decide what to do. Fox's Dana Marie McNichol has more from Coral Gables, Florida.
We got a police officer coming up behind now.
In December of 2019, 2 armed men robbed a jewelry store and hijacked this UPS truck, leading police on a high-speed chase.
It's going to be blocked in right here, at least.
It came to an end in the middle of rush hour traffic.
There are shots being fired.
As 18 officers from 4 responding agencies exchanged gunfire with the suspects. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement said more than 200 shots were fired. Only after the shooting stopped did officers realize the truck's original driver had been in the vehicle the whole time. The shootout killed not only the 2 suspects, but also 27-year-old UPS driver Frank Ordonez and 70-year-old Richard Cutshaw, an innocent bystander sitting in his car. A grand jury indicted 4 Miami-Dade County officers with manslaughter charges, which could carry up to 30 years in prison if convicted. The officers turned themselves in over the weekend and were released without bail. The union that represents the officers criticized the still sealed indictment, saying, quote, "We're extremely disappointed that after almost 5 years, these officers are finding themselves indicted for something they had seconds to decide." The Broward State Attorney said the years-long state investigation was necessary to get answers for the victim's family and the community.
Imagine seeing your brother get killed on live TV. It's traumatizing. I'm traumatized. To this day, I see a UPS truck and I cry.
It's highly unlikely for Florida law enforcement officers to be charged in relation to on-duty killings. It's only happened 3 times in the last 40 years, and only 1 of them was convicted. In Miami, Dana Marie McNichol, Fox News.
And still to come on Fox 22 News at 10, Northern Light Health organizations across the state are participating in educational and celebratory activities throughout Pride Month.
And in sports, the Celtics are close to closing out the NBA Finals tonight at TD Garden. We'll hear from Joe Mazzulla when we come back after the break.
The Quiz with Balls, all new Tuesdays at 9/8 Central on Fox.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah, crazy story. So this morning, I'm at the Nissan Thrill of Summer sales event, taking a test drive. When Dave's like, these cars are going fast, I knew I had to have that Rogue.
Now get a low $269 per month lease on Rogue.
It was one thing when my mom got Alzheimer's, but then we started noticing things that seemed off. She developed agitation that may happen with dementia due to Alzheimer's disease. Sometimes she'd fidget with her fingers, get suddenly overwhelmed, and even throw things. And that was just never her. So we asked her doctor what else we could do.
Rexulti is the only FDA-approved medication proven to reduce agitation symptoms that may happen with dementia due to Alzheimer's disease. Rexulti can cause serious side effects. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke, report fever, stiff muscles, and confusion, which can be life-threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements, which may be permanent. High blood sugar, which can lead to coma or death, weight gain, increased cholesterol, low white blood cells, unusual urges, dizziness on standing, falls, seizures, trouble swallowing, or sleepiness may occur.
Rexulti helped reduce my mom's symptoms.
Take action for your loved one. Ask their doctor about Rexulti.
Down to the shore or up to the mountains. Before you can get there, you've got to get here. Your Ford dealer's Great American Sales Event with special 4th of July deals. Like select F-150 trucks with 3.9% financing for 60 months, plus up to $500 bonus cash. So get the truck you've always wanted. Ford F-Series, including the all-new F-150 and Super Duty. Drive home select Ford F-150 models with 3.9% APR for 60 months, plus up to $500 bonus cash for qualified buyers.
Planet Oats so creamy and not watery like.
Exactly, and unsweetened, has 0 grams of sugar.
And don't forget, it's an excellent source of calcium. Wow, Planet Oat really has it all.
You guys are so right.
No, you are.
No, you are.
No, you are.
Yeah, you are.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah, crazy story. So this morning, I'm at the Nissan Thrill of Summer sales event, taking a test drive, when Dave's like, these cars are going fast. I knew I had to have that Rogue.
Now get a low $269 per month lease on Rogue.
The U.S. Surgeon General says the dangers kids are exposed to on social media are so severe, Congress should be demanding tech companies put warning labels on their apps similar to the ones on cigarettes and alcohol. Fox's Rebecca Castor has the details.
Research shows teenagers spend nearly 5 hours a day on social media. And with youth anxiety and depression at record levels, its impact on their mental health is hard to ignore. Leading Surgeon General Vivek Murthy to call for warning labels on all social media apps.
The Surgeon General has a 6-year-old and a 7-year-old. He's worried about his own children. He's worried about America's children.
In an op-ed, the nation's top doctor writes, a Surgeon General's warning label would regularly remind parents and adolescents that social media has not been proved safe. It would be similar to the warning label required for cigarettes, which Murthy says has helped decrease smoking. But it's up to Congress to mandate a warning label for social media platforms.
Our young people are experiencing an unprecedented mental health crisis. There is undeniable evidence of this, that social media and other online platforms are contributing to this.
There's bipartisan support on Capitol Hill for more social media safeguards for kids, but legislation hasn't moved forward. In a hearing earlier this year, the tech CEOs behind these platforms told lawmakers there's already safety tools in place. Yet the room was filled with parents who say their children were harmed by their apps, coaxing an apology from Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg.
I think tech companies are going to look to say, how do we partner and how do we educate, because they don't want to lose the audience.
The Surgeon General says a warning label would just be one step to make social media safer. He's also encouraging parents to require more phone-free time for their kids. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Construction is booming across the country, and while the number of projects and jobs is high, so is the need for workers. Fox's Sunny Sai reports from Arizona on what one company is doing to prepare people to go to work on construction sites.
I'm in Maricopa County, Arizona, where a lot of people have been moving to recently, including construction companies and projects. In fact, the Arizona Office of Economic Opportunity says there will be almost 40,000 new jobs in construction by 2031. One company in town is making sure there will be enough workers to fill those positions.
Austin McCabe needed a high school diploma and a driver's license. This led him to his current job in construction.
I used to be an electrician for about a year. I ended up really enjoying the work. So, hey, I want to learn to work with my hands. I still needed my high school diploma at the time. And I found out about Job Corps, which offers both. They give you training, gets you finish your high school diploma, and they get you your driver's license, but I still needed it at the time.
McCabe completed a new partnership program between Job Corps and DPR Construction that gives people hands-on experience in the industry.
I was still part of Job Corps while I first joined DPR. A 6-week onboarding. Afterwards, DPR, they liked what I was doing when I worked there, so they hired me on full-time.
Maricopa County, where Phoenix is, was the 4th largest growing county in the nation last year. It's not just a population growth, but also a construction boom.
We have been the recipient of a lot of new companies coming into town that are focused on
building a new industry here. We've been called the Electric Valley. All of the chip manufacturing that's coming to town and the supply chain that comes with it.
In 2023, the Phoenix metro area had one of the highest employment rates in the construction industry. Nationally, employment increased by more than 250,000 workers since last year. But the industry still needs more.
With all of the work in the Valley, we are continuing to connect and partner with organizations that support workforce development. Has been a great opportunity for us to introduce people to the trades, help them see that construction is a career.
Since the program launched late last year, DPR Construction and Job Corps are launching their third cohort of the next class of construction workers. In Maricopa County, Arizona, Sunnyside, Fox News.
Boeing is scrambling to fix a new problem on one of its state-of-the-art wide-body planes. The multinational company, which makes more than 40% of the world's passenger fleet, is investigating whether some fuselage fasteners on undelivered 787 Dreamliner planes were incorrectly installed. The questioned fuselage fasteners are in the side of the body areas. The company says the potential problem was discovered in routine quality checks, and current in-service fleet planes can safely continue operating. The FAA is investigating the issue with Boeing. Quality control issues heightened with Boeing when a door plug came off an Alaska Airlines flight on January 5th.
Meanwhile, consumers are not happy with the level of service they're getting. The average customer experience slumped to a new low this year, the weakest reading since consulting firm Forrester started its survey back in 2016. Companies and government agencies were both more difficult to deal with, the third year in a row with a decline. Forrester looked at more than 98,000 consumers' perceptions of 223 brands, and consumers say they're paying more but are not getting a better experience. Pet care company Chewy and Tesla received high scores. The Internal Revenue Service ranked last.
It was a historic day on the River Seine as dozens of boats participated in a dress rehearsal for the Paris Olympic opening ceremony. Fox's Alex Hogan has more.
With just 39 days to go before the Summer Olympics in Paris, the city held a dress rehearsal on Monday, hoping to work out the kinks for an opening ceremony like no other we've seen before. For the first time in Olympic history, the ceremony will be held entirely on the water. So instead of the familiar scene of athletes from all over the world marching into a stadium, we'll see dozens of boats carrying more than 200 delegations float down the River Seine. And organizers say it's going well so far.
On every test, we are sticking more and more to the timing. 6 months ago, we had a 10-minute delay, and today we are very close, almost to the second.
The opening ceremony will drift east to west along a 3.7-mile-long route, lasting nearly 4 hours in the Paris sunset. But with more than 100 world leaders expected to line the embankments, French President Emmanuel Macron is warning the event could shift to a more conventional setting if there's a major security threat.
We are very attentive to the evolution of the threat, to its analysis, but for the moment, there is no reason to worry.
And of course, with so many countries represented, it's difficult to completely avoid politics, and this Olympics is no exception. Some have called for the removal of the Israeli delegation as a protest over the fighting in Gaza. But the athletes themselves say they're focusing on the competition, not the war.
I hope we are welcome as Palestinians, and I hope we will win something to make our country and our people proud.
The Paris Olympics kick off with the opening ceremony on July 26th. In London, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
Definitely excited for the Olympics. Always am, especially the Summer Olympics.
Yeah, and it's always fun to see that opening ceremony and you know how they're done differently each time. So really cool to hear that they're putting a whole new spin on it this year.
Yeah,
too.
we have no doubt that Paris will not disappoint.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, when we come back, our full forecast awaits.
All right, we got some extreme heat on the way. As you can see, much of our area has got a heat advisory. What will the temperatures get up to? I'll have more on that coming right up.
It all starts with a Chevy truck. Chevy Silverado with the Turbo Max engine and best-in-class standard torque. And Chevy Silverado HD with up to 14 available camera views. Do more in a Chevy truck. Get yours now. Current Chevy lessees can get this Silverado for around $359 a month. Or current Chevy owners get $5,500 total value when you purchase.
Refine, your local expert in window and door installation, carpentry repairs, and commercial facilities management. At Refine, we're proud to offer Maine-made Paradigm windows crafted with care and precision to ensure quality and durability like no other. From quaint cottages to bustling businesses, let us refine your space with our signature Maine-made touch. Trust Refine to exceed your expectations every time. Contact us today and let Maine craftsmanship elevate your home or business. Rise with Refine.
Hood milking you. It's why we do what we do, day in and day out. Making milk you can trust, with no artificial growth hormones. And we protect Hood milk with our light block bottle. We care about our milk because we know how much you care about what you give your family. So you can feel good about Hood.
An official message from Medicare.
A new law is helping us save more money on prescription drugs. Maybe you can save too. With Medicare's Extra Help program, our drug premiums are zero, and our out-of-pocket costs are low.
I enrolled and I'm saving money. If you're single and make less than $23,000 a year, or are a married couple making less than $31,000, you may qualify and save, even if you don't think you qualify. It pays to find out.
Go to ssa.gov/extrahelp.
It's a culinary battle of the ages.
Gen Z.
Forward! Which generation is going to win it all?
MasterChef Generations, all new Wednesdays on Fox.
Tonight's Maine weather is going to be brought to you by Big Pine Painting, the #1 family-owned and operated painting company serving Bangor and Belfast and surrounding areas for all your paint, drywall, and pressure washing needs. Call today for your free estimate. All right, let's take a look at the weather in the region right now. As you can see, we do have some clockwise rotation. If you can see from the clouds over here just moving over the Bangor area, that high pressure is on the way, and that means we have some extreme heat on the way as well. But for now, let's take a look at those high temperatures today. It was actually much cooler than what we're about to see. 68 for the high in Bangor. We had some mid-60s by the coast, and then we could see some warmer temperatures in the low to mid-70s up in the northern part of the state. But like I said, we have some extreme heat on the way. We can see an excessive heat watch in the southwestern part of the state, and then Bangor all the way up to Presque Isle, we do have a heat advisory that'll last until Wednesday around 8 p.m., and I do believe it'll get extended until Thursday as well. So with that being said, let's take a look at those temperatures coming into the area. We can see by 4 p.m. it'll show around low 80s, but I believe we'll still be sticking around 90 going into the evening tomorrow, as we do have some high temperatures on the way reaching into the low 90s. And then taking a look at the temperature trend, we are going to see those 90s are going to stick around Wednesday into Thursday. That's when they will be the hottest. Wednesday will be our hottest day, around 98, and then 96 for Thursday. And then we will slightly cool down going into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with some more comfortable temperatures in the mid-70s by Sunday. All right, with that being said, the humidity is going to be on the rise with these warmer temperatures in the area. Wednesday through Thursday is when they're going to be at their highest point, very, very humid, and then they'll drop down going into the weekend. But through Wednesday and Friday, that is when you're going to need a water on hand, and make sure you're staying hydrated, because it's going to be very important with that sun beating down and bringing that high humidity into the area, making those temperatures feel a lot hotter than they really are. What also is going to make it feel very hot tomorrow is the sunshine, bringing a UV index of 9. The burn time could be less than 10 minutes. It is very, very important to protect yourself out there with a UV this high. Hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, and make sure you're finding those shady areas if you're out and about enjoying your day in the excessive heat. So with that being said, we do have a future forecast showing there could be some sprinkles and some showers making their way through, but other than that, it's going to be very clear until we get into Wednesday afternoon. That's when we can expect to see some more showers and thunderstorms making their way into the region. So with that being said, wind speeds right now from the south near Bar Harbor, 13 miles per hour, a little breezy as well in Bangor, 12 miles per hour from the south. Other than that, much of the region is pretty calm. We can see 0 to 5 mile per hour winds in much of the area except for Bangor and Bar Harbor. So other than that, winds are looking pretty good right now. Going into tonight, though, low of 58 degrees with mostly cloudy skies and winds from the south at 5 miles per hour. And tomorrow we'll have a high of 91. It's going to be mostly sunny and hot, and winds will pick up a little bit from the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And your extended forecast shows that Wednesday and Thursday are going to be our hottest days of the week with temperatures in the upper 90s, and then we'll slightly cool down going into the weekend.
All righty, Chase, thank you.
All right, and sports is coming up next. Stay with us.
Noah's Ark Food and Ice Cream is open for business. Located 5 miles off exit 244 in Medway, you will find affordable prices on all of your favorites. We offer homemade pizza, mouth-watering cheeseburgers, lobster rolls, scallops, and a local favorite is our sweet sausage sub. We also have kid-friendly meals and offer fresh doughboys and ice cream year-round. Noah's Ark Food and Ice Cream. Stop by for a delicious bite to eat and dessert too.
T-Mobile savings, take one. Guys, focus. Here's the line. At T-Mobile, you get tons of benefits and you can still save versus the other guys. Focus. Hello, T-Mobile.
Hold on, you might
Okay,
want to
stop. Just say it like this. At T-Mobile, you can save on every plan and you get great benefits with Magenta Status. Magenta Status. Yeah!
I'll show you my Magenta Status.
Okay, I'll just do it. Check out the T-Mobile Savings Calculator to see how much you can save. And right now, we'll even pay off your phone when you switch.
Adding comfort and beauty to your home for less is as easy as 1, 2, 3 during Renewal by Andersen's Easy 3Z replacement window event. The time to act is now because Renewal by Andersen is making it easy and affordable with huge discounts on our exclusive custom replacement windows and our doors, along with special financing options so affordable you won't want to miss out on this event. And to top it all off, professional installation by our certified master installers is always included. Like we said, Easy 3Z. Call today.
On the Road, broadcasting the news at 6, live from Dover Foxcroft, is sponsored by Dunkin'. Come try our new energy refreshers and menu items. The Bailey family is anxious to serve you. Pet Care by Lindsay is an in-home pet care provider servicing the greater Bangor, Waterville, Ellsworth, Bar Harbor, and Mid-Coast areas. And McCusick Petroleum is a full-service oil and LP gas dealer. They offer service agreements and budget plans.
America's oldest ballpark hosts a celebration over a century in the making. MLB at Rickwood Field, only on Fox.
Ago to the date, the Boston Celtics beat the Los Angeles Lakers at TD Garden to clinch their league best 17th NBA championship. And on Monday night, they had the chance to do the same, this time over the Dallas Mavericks with a league best 18th title. And it looks like they're going to do just that. Boston has led by double figures all second half. Only thing left to do is wait for the final buzzer. They currently lead 102-78, under 5 minutes to play. We'll have full highlights after the game at 11. Let's go to the golf course now. Mount Ararat grad and Topsom native and a multiple-time Maine amateur champion, Caleb Manuel, has set his sights on pro golf. Manuel recently wrapped up a collegiate career, graduating from the University of Georgia. He spent 2 years as a Bulldog following strong freshman and sophomore campaigns at UConn, where he was a Big East champion. He declared a professional on Friday. Manuel says he's excited for pro golf and feels he'll enjoy it better than college golf because, well, there's no one on a team to let down.
I think I'm going to like it a little bit more just because I'm on my own schedule, and I'm kind of just playing for myself rather than, you know, the university and the team. I think that's just kind of my personality, that I don't like to let people down, so I feel a little bit more pressure with the team versus, you know, pro golf, you're just kind of letting yourself.
2 years ago, Manuel qualified for the U.S. Open, playing Thursday and Friday there at just 22 years old. He says that experience is huge for him as he turns pro. He also played on the Corn Ferry Tour and their event in Maine, which he also says was big. And all of those high-level tournaments, including his time with Georgia, helped him work on his mental game out on the course.
It's fun watching it this week, too, because I knew I was playing there 2 years ago, which seems like a long time ago, but yeah, that and the Corn Ferry, and then just playing at Georgia, I think just tells me that I can play with the best of them. And just kind of accepting that it's not always going to be easy and fun, especially the first couple of years. Like, I'm going to be traveling alone a lot and trying to make some money with paychecks. So.
All right, wishing him the best of luck there. Let's stay on the golf course now. And down south this weekend, celebrities and athletes from around the country will be coming to Falmouth Country Club for the second annual Drive for Kids Celebrity Golf Tournament. The tournament benefits the Barbara Bush Children's Hospital and the Dempsey Foundation. And we have a star-studded list for you. It all starts on Thursday. McDreamy, Patrick Dempsey will be there, as will Brock Holt, and a few other World Series champs, Derek Lowe and Kevin Millar from 2004, as will Clay Buchholz. The Rocket, Roger Clemens, is there, Vinny Del Negro, Marshall Faulk, the Boss Jerome Bettis, Doug Flutie, a few Super Bowl champs, Rex Burkhead and Mike Vrabel, and then the goalies, Tuukka Rask and former Maine goalie and current Bruins goalie, Jeremy Swayman. All right, let's move on to the baseball diamond now. The Red Sox winning their third straight victory earlier on Monday against Toronto in Toronto, and it's been a nice little stretch for Boston these past few days. After splitting a 4-game series with one of the worst teams in baseball, the Chicago White Sox, the Red Sox have rebounded nicely. They came back to Fenway Park, hosted the best team in the National League, the Philadelphia Phillies, taking 2 of 3 from them, and then they welcomed the New York Yankees for the first time this season, the best team in baseball record-wise, and took 2 of 3 from them. So here's what manager Alex Cora had to say earlier on Monday on the team's recent success.
We went from hitting a lot of home runs and striking out to all of a sudden becoming the Go-Go Sox, to be honest with you. We just got a bunch of athletes and a bunch of young guys that actually JT mentioned it, and George talked, he's like, it's like me when I was in Houston early in my career, kind of like just go out there and prove everybody wrong, you know, and prove that you belong in the big leagues. And we have a bunch of guys like that, and you know, it hasn't been great, you know, it's been good, but we played great this week.
All right, so as the attention turns to the Red Sox, they're winning at the right time. That's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Comfy, cozy, relaxing. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find rockers, recliners, sofas, and easy chairs. Quality furniture, affordable prices. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
Fires, floods, burst pipes. Disasters happen, but the mess they leave behind doesn't have to last. For 40 years, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration has been there to help Mainers get back to the closest to normal as they can. When your property is at its worst, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration is at their best, and they have been for 4 decades. Put your trust in the Bouchard team. Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration. You keep the memories, we'll handle the rest.
Who has the best kept secret in Penobscot County?
We do!
Welcome to Maple Lane Farms, a 5th-generation family farm that's committed to providing you with the best quality products. Our farm-raised local and sustainable meat is flash frozen to lock in the freshness and natural flavors. Experience the top-notch quality of our meat that's naturally raised without any antibiotics or hormones. Get the best of both worlds, quality and affordability. Try Maple Lane Farms today, the candy store for the carnivore.
Spring is here. And now is the time to call Hickory Dickory Decks for your new deck, sunroom, or enclosed porch. They specialize in custom outdoor living and making your dream oasis a reality. See for yourself how Hickory Dickory Decks can transform your existing porch into a 3-season sunspace sunroom. Call Hickory Dickory Decks now for your free estimate. And enjoy life outdoors.
Upset stomach? Iberogast. Indigestion? Iberogast. Bloating? Iberogast. Thanks to a unique combination of herbs, Iberogast helps relieve 6 digestive symptoms to help you feel better. 6 digestive symptoms, the power of nature. Iberogast.
Our biggest challenge? Uncertainty. Hidden fees, surcharges, who knows what to expect.
Turn shipping to your advantage.
Keep it simple with clear upfront pricing.
With USPS Ground Advantage.
Durable, sturdy, stylish. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find solid wood, built to last, made in Maine dressers, bureaus, and nightstands. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
Gordon Ramsay and Lisa Vanderpump are searching for the next great food star.
You ready?
Born ready.
Food Stars, all new Wednesdays on Fox.
Honeybees not only pollinate around 1/3 of the world's food, some scientists say they believe they can also detect lung cancer. Researchers at Michigan State University have determined honeybees can detect chemicals associated with lung cancer in human breath. They created a, quote, recipe for a synthetic breath mixture that contained compounds present in the breath of a person who has cancer and a synthetic healthy breath mixture. Researchers then presenting both odors to the honeybees. They found that they could tell the difference between which odor contained cancer and which did not. They were also able to recognize various types of lung cancer. Scientists say the discovery could help patients receive specific diagnoses quickly, which is a huge step in identifying the correct treatment route. Lung cancer is the leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the world.
If your kids are home for the summer, one health expert is sharing some tips to help keep them busy. Kids may be tempted to go for the iPad or other devices, but pediatrician Gina Robinson with the Cleveland Clinic recommends setting limits. Dr. Robinson says going to the park is a free and fun idea where kids can be social and exercise at the same time. Taking them to the library is another fun summer activity. She says while parents should give kids different options for activities, it's important that they're encouraged to spend time outdoors. She adds it's also important to set aside time for family only and that leading by example is helpful.
Well, Northern Light Health organizations across the state are participating in various educational and celebratory activities in recognition of Pride Month. More than 100 employees and family members from Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center are expected to march in the upcoming Bangor Pride Parade. They will also be sharing resources with the community. Healthcare professionals say they aim to reach more marginalized groups in the community as they are often at a greater risk of illness due to lack of access.
Have to make a more concerted effort to have equitable access to everyone for those marginalized groups. We have to go out into our community and really say, hey, come see us. Like, we want to take care of you.
Northern Light officials say their efforts extend well beyond the month of June, and you can read more about their upcoming events on our website, that is foxbangor.com.
Finally tonight, strawberry picking season is officially upon us. Truergy Family Orchards in Levant is open to pick your own strawberries. People from Bangor, Glenburn, and Ellsworth stopped by the Union Street location over the weekend to get their hands on some fresh fruit. The visitors we spoke with say nothing else compares to the taste of a fresh-picked strawberry.
We're looking forward to having good strawberries, and I like to make jam, so I'm excited to make some more.
It's so easy to pick, and I mean, the evidence is in the basket here of how gorgeous they are. So can't wait to get home and eat some and make some shortcake and some strawberry mojitos.
Truergy Family Orchards will be open again on Tuesday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. for those looking to go and pick their own berries. And as you heard, so many great things you can do with them or just eat them raw. I mean, they're just so delicious.
They're just deliciousness, you know,
Yeah.
top to bottom. I do approve of both the shortcake and the mojito scenarios.
Yeah, you know what? You could
Yeah.
have both
A
at
shortcake
the same
and a mojito.
time, right? Why
yeah.
not?
Why not? All right, well, that is going to do it for us, folks, from everyone here at Fox 22 News. Take care and good night.
Good night, everyone. We'll be right back here tomorrow.
This summer,
I'm sweating.
the competition is heating up.
Welcome to 25 Words or Less.
Every weekday
on Fox 22.
It was one thing when my mom got Alzheimer's, but then we started noticing things that seemed off. She developed agitation that may happen with dementia due to Alzheimer's disease. Sometimes she'd fidget with her fingers, get suddenly overwhelmed, and even throw things. And that was just never her. So we asked her doctor what else we could do.
Rexulti is the only FDA-approved medication proven to reduce agitation symptoms that may happen with dementia due to Alzheimer's disease. Rexulti can cause serious side effects. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk